Welcome to another review of one of my statues in my collection. This is the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman from Batman Returns. And some history behind this piece. I mean, this is probably one of the most anticipated or asked for versions of Catwoman among the many versions of Catwoman out there. Really an iconic role by Michelle Pfeiffer. However you feel about the movie itself, which can be a bit controversial in terms of just how her character came to be and all that, but certainly, Michelle Pfeiffer turned in a very, very striking, memorable performance. It is iconic. And so we've been waiting for a long time for a great statue of her in this role to be created. And there have been some attempts made. I think one by a company called Tweeterhead. I think this was a smaller version. I'm not sure if it's quarter scale. This is a quarter scale statue. I think theirs was maybe 1/6 scale. But here she is. And let's kind of take a look at her and talk about my thoughts. So number one, my overall impression of her is very positive. She has a very, very nice pose in keeping with her character. She's basically just kind of casually resting her hand on the chimney. This is a rooftop scene, so her base is actually the roof. Here's the chimney, and then she's standing there. The costume is meticulously painted, very nice, very glossy. I don't know if my phone can show it, but there's going to be certain areas where there's a little tiny difference in the sheen. It's not just all black. There's almost a bluish tinge on it. They did this extremely well in terms of the paint. I kind of was wishing that this type of effect could have been done with a little bit more subtlety for the RoboCop quarter scale. I got that from PCS. Waited 2.5 years for that. I'm going to review that a little bit later on. But they did a magnificent job with kind of the shading. And again, I really wish that they had done that with RoboCop. The shading for him with the little purplish highlights was just, in my opinion, a little bit crude. But not so with her. Glossed in all the right places. The catsuit, really, really nicely done. So I love the pose. Love the paint, love the sculpt. Now, her likeness. Does this really scream Michelle Pfeiffer to you? I think that's a little bit controversial. Different people will get different mileage from this head sculpt. Number one, the good things about it, I think the eyes are painted very nicely. I don't think they look googly or they're going in different directions. I think the makeup is nicely applied. It's a beautiful portrait. In my view, I think this does look like Michelle Pfeiffer. I have no problem seeing Michelle Pfeiffer. And from certain angles, it looks spot on. Like from this angle, it looks spot on. Could they have done a better job? Certainly, they could have. One could argue that Tweeterhead's version maybe is a little bit better. The body may be a little bit more accurate. I like this one better. I think it's bigger, has more presence. And one of the things that you have to remember is that when you create a statue of a character that is from a movie, you not only have to get the rights from the producers who own the movie, but you also have to get the rights from the actor or actress to get their likeness, the rights to their likeness. And you have to have them approve it before moving forward to final production. And so without getting too graphic about that, it sometimes occurs that various actors or actresses don't want themselves to be portrayed in the most accurate way. They sometimes prefer a more idealized version of themselves. And in this case, we're just speculating. It could be that Michelle Pfeiffer, the actress, liked this version of her face, liked this version of her figure. And even though the sculptor, who's responsible for the digital sculpt or the clay sculpt or whatnot, may have given us a much more accurate likeness, it could be that, Ms. Pfeiffer did not like it. And it's certainly within her right to ask for changes, and that has to be respected. So as far as this goes, I think this is a very beautiful, idealized version of Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman from Batman Returns. I have no problems with it. I think any fan of the movie instantly recognizes this iconic catsuit, which they did a tremendous job replicating. And if you look at her face, you're going to see Michelle Pfeiffer in it. Okay, so I'm happy with that. In terms of how she comes with the base, which is very, very heavy, and then the main body that you put on the base, and then the two arms attach separately, and then the head attaches separately. And then you put the whip, and you can shape the whip all the way down here. Okay, so again, not a lot of moving parts, no different head sculpts. This is just a very, very basic statue, and I really appreciate that. This is the vision that the sculptor wants us to see. Did a great job. Fantastic pose, fantastic attitude. And looking at the details, these guys basically are a nightmare to ship. You can see each of the individually sculpted claws on her, and they're ingeniously placed in the styrofoam over empty space so that they don't break and shatter. So here's a mega close-up view. You can see how delicate these are, but I would love and appreciate that detail to it. The same thing with the claws here. Hopefully you can kind of tell a little bit as I start moving, the best angle. You can see all of that. So it's very intricate, very detailed, very delicate, but it's a very, very nice touch. Some criticize that the head is a little bit shaky. I don't find it so, I'm just trying to tap it back and forth. It's not going to roll off. So, again, your mileage is going to vary. They made a couple thousand of these, and it could be that the magnets are a little bit stronger. Some others I got a pretty decent magnet, so I have no issues with that. The seam is a little clumsy. If you look really close again, you can see that where it attaches. Overall, that's not a deal breaker. So I'm very pleased with her. Again, I've been waiting for something like this for a long time. I think it's a beautiful rendition of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman from Batman Returns. I have the Sideshow premium format exclusive, which is, of course, just based on the comic book vision, and I'm going to review that in a bit. And I have the Julie Newmar version from the Adam West Batman. And so between those, I have three different Catwoman statues. The three I consider just the ones I love the most. And when I was a kid, growing up, I used to love watching, Adam West and Burt Ward's Batman series. Loved that. And Julie Newmar was always my favorite Catwoman when I was watching that. So that, kind of was a lot of nostalgia for me about that. Here's Michelle Pfeiffer, and then of course the Sideshow version. I didn't buy the Ballant purple version because I think it's just a color swap of the Sideshow Catwoman, original Catwoman premium format in black, and I don't usually love to support color swaps. It's a little bit ridiculous treating $600 statues like comic book covers. I dislike that practice, so I try not to support that. And there hasn't really been any other iconic Catwoman out there. I would definitely consider buying a great version of the Anne Hathaway one from The Dark Knight Rises, but they haven't really made one. XM Statues, I think, is making one with her again on a motorcycle. I'm not a big fan of that. Again, too many switch outs on the bike taken away from the character, in my opinion. And of course, there's issues trying to get XM to North America, which I would only deal with if the statue was truly exceptional. But as far as that goes, I think I'm going to be pretty happy with the Julie Newmar, Michelle Pfeiffer, and the classic Sideshow premium format one for now. But again, very, very happy with this. There are no exclusives for it, so you can take advantage of maybe a few percentage off, save a little bit of money if you buy from your secondary retailer. So there you go. Great, great paint job, nice and glossy. Just wonderful. All right, thanks for watching, and hopefully this is my first time using YouTube. Hopefully these things are going to be loading to YouTube reasonably well and can actually show up in some searches. And yeah, just my perspective, and just another, another way of looking at these statues. Another guy with an iPhone camera showing off his collection. And hopefully this adds some value to people who are trying to figure out whether they want this for themselves or not. And it's a good way to catalog my pieces as well. Okay, take care. Until next time.